Let's get it, boys. Welcome to the stream. Piss missiles are engaged, boys. It's a great day to have a great day. You know? See you guys in the chat. Why are we having a stream today? Why not have a stream today? Am I right? It's a great day to be a Florida Gator. Let's drop a like. Boys and girls, let's have a great flipping show. Let's have a good time. Let's get bug nasty with it. Let's get boogie woogie woogie. Yes, sir. Hope you guys are having a great Monday. That's how you start the week, boys. You vibe, you hang out with the boys, you have a good time. You know what I'm saying? A little sippy, a little drinky. It's Monday night, boys. Let's get the show started. Look at George. It's hard to chat when I'm dancing. Yeah. I always put some Christmas music on because to me it's Christmas. I already put the decorations up. I'm ready to roll, you know? But not yet. I might do like a 12-day giveaway thing. I love Christmas. Steven Deere, music is unique. I like to get funky, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep it spicy, boys. Let's get to 10 likes and then we'll start the show, huh? How about that? We're at 7 likes. 3 more likes, boys. Scare money don't make money.
How about them Gators? Looking, he's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown, and the Gators have won.
Good evening. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the stream. It's your host, Sheldon Walker, here with High Top Sports. Good evening, guys. It's good to see you guys. I'm glad you guys came out on this Monday afternoon. It's a great day to have a great day. Yes, I know the graphic was still up. It's kind of a little pre-hype intro. I'm not drinking. No, just water for me today, boys. I'm trying to sober up till next Saturday. It's just sobering up here. A little bit of water, though. But it's rocket shit time. Piss missiles are flying, boys. Let's have a great day. So that we had a press conference today with old Billy. And I did this a few weeks ago, and I really enjoyed doing it. So I wanted to do that again, where we walk through Billy's press conference. We talk about it because obviously we watch it live and typically we comment on it, but we don't get to kind of chime in on it, you know? So I want to say, because I think Billy talks in codes. I've said this before. He talks very, you know, he'll say a lot of things without saying very much at all. So sometimes I like to break that down, kind of tell you what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking. Because he says a lot again without saying very much at all, which I love. I think it's great. But a lot of stuff to talk about here. We're going to go over that. And then some Malik Bryant news that Corey Bennett just dropped, which is absolutely massive news. Because I've been kind of hearing it through the woodworks, but it's all just noise typically. Corey Bennett out here dropping some news, who's a credible on-3 reporter, some pretty big stuff. So we're going to get into that as well, too. So make sure you guys sit tight. Also too, Funky Fudge, just $2. Little super chat there. Love that. Let's go, baby. Just want to say thanks for the awesome content. Well, hey, thank you, Funky Fudge. We also have one from Tristan Creel. Little super chat to get the day started. And he became a member. Said, great show. High Top is hyped up. Love the energy. Well, hey, we love you, man. Annie showed some $2. Says, love the defense. Poopy's here. Scott020. What's going on? Carson, what's going on? Josh. Chris Sorley, Piss Missiles. Hey. Steven Deere. George. Cody Bullgator, the man. Gator Gang, yo, what's good? Demetrius, how we doing? How about him, boys? How about him? Ant33, what's going on, man? Johnny Gator versus anybody. Jeremy Carpenter, what's going on, big dog? Welcome to the stream. How we doing, LFGM? Boys, how we doing, boys? Let's go. Let's get rock. Ricky, how we doing? Welcome to the stream, Bubba. Muddy, just listened to a podcast on 3 Court Bender, and he said Florida is going hard from Malik. Really wants another linebacker. Hey-o. What's up, Litterus? How you doing, baby? DeAndre Gosha. What's up, big dog? Looks like we're getting spammed, and that's phenomenal. We're back, boys. We're back. You know how we're doing? We're having a good day when the porn bots are in. You know what I'm saying? Justin Roberts, go Gators, big dogs. That's how you know it's going to be a good day. That's how you know when the show just started, because porn bots are here and we're rocking and rolling. So here's what we're going to do. Florida Man to the moon. Absolutely, boys. The spaceship should be here any day now. Hopefully, if we do get the flip on Malik, the spaceship's here for that stream, because my goodness, we are going to the moon. Let's go. Kind of Loopy says $2. Says I need some more likes on the stream, boys. Let's get the likes up there, boys. Costs nothing to drop a like in there, show some love and support for the boys. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's do this. We're going to break down Billy's press conference today. Again, I love talking about it, especially after a big win. To me, it felt like it was our first complete game where we looked great on both sides. Billy mentions that as well. Talks about the things that I talked about as well, too. Some of the things, the negatives, look, not negatives, but just things they need to work on, right? Things they need to get focused on. And then just kind of what's to expect for Vandy. Look, Vandy's going to be a little bit of a teaser this year. Vandy's feeling good about themselves. They're on a little bit of a high after beating Kentucky. We're going into Vandy. I think typically we would expect to win this, and we do expect to win this, but it's not going to be just a cakewalk like it typically is. Boy, the boys are dialed in. I mean, you got to give credit when credit's due. They're humming right now, okay? They're having themselves a year, all right? Let's go ahead and let's pull up the video here, and let's go ahead and get it started, all right? Let's got him. Oh, Billy Ballsack pulled up here, and then let's talk about it a little bit. Hey, real quick, I haven't done the research yet, but Game 1 versus Utah, Billy was wearing a hoodie. We won. Billy had the nice kind of scruffy beard on Saturday, which is an altering look to what he's normally done. W. He wore a hoodie against Texas A&M. W. Okay? I'm not saying that there's a coincidence there, but that's 50% of our wins. He's either got a nice old scruff beard or a hoodie on. I'm just an outside perspective, guys. Just giving you my thoughts and opinions. You let me know what you think, but we might need to do some research on the other 3 wins. I think the other 3 were just extremely hot. They didn't need it, but I'm not. When the buddies got the hoodie on, 98 or not, we get W's. That's all I'm saying.
Everybody's good here? All right, Coach, whenever you're ready, sir. Okay, we very proud of the leadership and the ownership that we saw last week amongst the staff and the players. By far the most complete game that we played, and I think it's a direct reflection of applied leadership, right? I think amongst the staff and players, people did a really good job. In their position in particular, all the people that they directly affect, I thought it was the reason that we played well. So great week of work last week from an energy and urgency standpoint. I do think we started fast in the game, which was a focal point. We controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, controlled the edges. We were the most physical team, and we felt like that combined with turnover margin would be critical. Few plays in special teams that we need to detail up and coach better.
I said that too. Special teams looked a little sloppy.
Outside of that, we 6 quarters in a row here. We've shut the opponent out. We're playing better on defense situation.
See, I feel like when Billy says things like that, right? Because obviously the call for Patrick Toney's head was at an all-time high. And that's his subtleness of just saying, suck it. 6 scoreless quarters, boys. Put that in your pipe and just swallow that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because he talked about, look, I believe in Patrick Toney. Like, this is the guy. And we were heavy on not wanting, on getting rid of Patrick Toney. And now we have 6 scoreless quarters of touchdowns. I mean, 6 scoreless because their touchdown this past weekend was off of was it a kick return? I believe fumble. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Kick that ass.
Situationally, the coverage and the rush is working together better, and offensively, outside of the last possession of the game,
something he mentioned too, which we've talked about time and time again, is getting started quickly. They got the ball rolling fast. We came out there, punched him in the mouth, and the defense was able to get a quick stop, and then we punched him in the mouth again, which I've been speaking week in and week out is, look, we just got to get going quickly, get to establish ourselves on the offensive side of things fast, and then we'll be good. And that's exactly what we did. We established the run very quickly. It allowed for Anthony to be comfortable, be himself. He made some great throws there in the beginning, and that was the difference maker. Look, it's a little late in the season. I felt like I wish we could have got it going sooner, but it is what it is. Things are going in the right direction, which I love seeing.
I think that's the 4th game in a row we haven't turned the ball over. So few issues in the red area on offense that we need to get improved.
Frustrated with the red zone performance for sure.
Good day for the Gators, right? And I think it's good to see a group work hard because they really care about a group of seniors and they want that group to have a great memory for senior day. I thought last week from a military appreciation, saluting those who serve, first responders, all of that was very positive, and we're thankful for all the people that contributed to that. So we're right in the middle here of the Vanderbilt prep. This is a group that continues to get better. There's no question. Year 1 to year 2, Clark's done a great job. You can see the improvement within this season. They've got some young players that continue to get better. Got their first SEC win in a while, and there's some momentum that we'll have to deal with that goes with that. So tough place to play.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot
Look,
of
you're Vandy right now, dude.
comes to going on the road
You
here
feel
for
like
the
you could get
game.
anything done.
What questions we got?
Really one of the challenges obviously be the weather. Could be in the 20s.
Such a stupid-ass question.
Will be maybe some challenges with that and just another 11 a.m. kick.
Like, how do you
We don't control the weather, right? So
like how do you answer that? Yeah, like if I'm coach, right? It's like, how do you guys plan to handle the weather? Well, we'll probably put on a few more gloves than we typically do. I'll make sure the guys have hoodies on, and there's gonna be some warmers on the sideline. Like, what the? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you're going out. I mean, like, you can't make it snow in the damn stadium. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just pack up and move on, boys. We're going out there to play some football. 5 minutes in after the game gets started, the heat's rumbling. Like, I mean, if that's all that it takes to get into those rooms to ask questions like that, where the hell's my credentials? I'm just I got better questions lined up than that. Probably a Mark Long question. I don't know who it is. Probably shit on somebody. It's probably a good dude. That's my boys. My bad.
you know, in regards to that, can't have an opinion on it because we don't control it, right? So we'll show up and play, and whatever the conditions are, they are.
Anything from that A&M trip, just maybe starting out a little slower than you wanted to with an 11 a.m. local kick? It's
a great question.
Anything else you'll do differently on the road?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think we quality controlled that trip. We are going to do a handful of things differently. From a time allocation standpoint, you know, what we do, you know, I think it's important in the beginning of the week. You know, I think the sleep habits of the players and staff throughout the week will be important. And I think as you approach Thursday night, Friday night, kind of making sure that we make adjustments there. But, you know, parts of our
I love this. Great question, by the way, because I think this is something that gets overlooked from being just as fans. I mean, that transition of how do you travel, right? How do you prepare? How do you keep your guys locked in? They're going to a new place. There's some excitement on traveling. How do you keep things as normal as possible? Did you learn something from the past trip to Texas A&M? These are all great questions. I mean, in a sense, and how do you prepare for that? Because I think Billy has proven he's very process oriented. So anytime that process gets knocked out of line or it gets changed a little bit, how do you adapt to that? Especially in your first season, new guys. How do we keep things as normal and as clean as possible? So again, these are things that are going to help with a new coach coming in, learning the team, learning the travel, you know, how it's traveling, how guys get from place to place, how the team is affected by it. Look, it sounds dumb, but that's how it gets down to the nitty gritty. I mean, it's those small details that add up to the big things. I love that. That was a great question. What would have bounced back from the weather question?
Our team started fast. The other parts didn't, right? So I think consistency as a whole, trying to keep some of this momentum. The things that we learned work Saturday, hopefully we can apply those.
Really somebody who finishes fast or strongly has been Montrell. What is it about like a running back who's able to just get stronger as the game goes? I mean, I forgot that you were on the same staff with Derrick Henry. I mean, he's a little different physical stature, but still, what is it about a guy who can do that?
Yeah, I think that's a heck of a question. You know, I think that that is.
I don't know if he was saying
true.
Montrell's Derrick Henry, but hell of a
Those
compliment
players
he was.
Tell you that they get more comfortable with more carries.
Look, here's
think
what I'm noticing too. What I love to see is I think he's speaking to the fact that Montrell is seemingly taking over the game as it goes on versus decreasing or losing the ability to get stronger and faster. It looks like he's getting better with each quarter. And as much as we love Trevor, and I love me some Trevor, don't get it twisted. I love the fact that it seems that we have a solid one guy and then an incredible number two guy. I mean, Trevor only had 8 carries. He got a lot of it from one carry. Montrell carried the load, that's exactly what we want to see. We spoke about that all year last year with Dameon Pierce, that we felt like we were just trying to give the ball around too much and didn't allow one guy to get the ball moving. And that's important. He's saying that right now. It's important for more reps. right? It's important for these guys to establish themselves as the guy. As great as Trevor is playing, Montreal's is playing that much better, which is a good problem to have. It's still Trevor's job. I mean, I don't think we have to be concerned of Trevor leaving. He's still a freshman. He's going to continue to get better and continue to get stronger and bigger, right? But I love the fact that Montreal is kind of taking the lead here and rocking and rolling. So, hey, welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome, Tim Lombardi. What's up, man? Good to see you, man. It's been a while. Make sure you guys drop a like in there. Let's get to 50 likes if we can, boys.
Trail is a 215, 20-pound back, and he's 5'11" and a half.
5'11" and a half. I love it.
He's not a burner. He's 21 and a half miles an hour. I think he hit in full gear the other day, which is good.
That half an inch adds up.
He's got really good instincts and vision. I think he anticipates contact. He's got really good contact balance. I think Montreal Johnson's effective because he's a great person, right? Like, this guy's a very disciplined guy. He's got character. He's very smart. He's one of the best practice players that we have. And he's in year 2 of his career.
Let's slow down for a sec. Let's talk about this, okay? Because that's important that what he said. Again, he always says more than what he's actually saying. He's a great guy. He's got a great head on his shoulders. He's focused. He's dialed in. Again, how I'm receiving that, right, is that's him saying, like, look, these are the guys that I'm about on. He lays out his entire size, right? 5'11" and a half. You're not the biggest. 215. You're not the strongest. Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, he's strong, but not the girthiest guy out there either. But he carries all of these attributes, okay? And the reason why he's saying this because the guy is complimenting him, comparing him to a Derrick Henry. Not exactly, but in a sense of his ability to run. And then he goes down to the personal attributes, the things that he can control, who he is as a person, how he is, and he mentions here in a second, he's the hardest practicer that there is on the team. I love that because now he's saying a message to Montreal, to us, the fans, the media, but to the team as well, is that it's not about always being the biggest, the strongest, the fastest. It's about how you come prepared each day and every day. And I think that, again, speaks to the Brenton Cox situation of you were the biggest, right? You probably weren't one of the strongest, but we didn't see eye to eye. He mentions this too. He goes, you may be really good, but we don't see eye to eye. And we may see eye to eye and you may not be really good, right? We got to have both. And we got to have a little bit of both to make things work. So I love that he's saying this because I think that also speaks to volumes of who we've been going after in the recruiting field as well. Is, look, that's the people we want. Those are the personalities that we're going for. We may lose out on certain guys. There was a young man, I can't remember his name right now, but he ended up going to Texas about 2 months ago. And we were all kind of shocked that he went to Texas. Aiden Mazzell was on the show. We had Connor Clark come on and talk about that. And they say, look, the reason being he went to Texas is the noise is kind of coming out that he wasn't really wanted anywhere else based on his personality. So Florida probably backed down a little bit. And from the guys that I've spoken to that are coming next year, Najee, Aiden Mazzell, Marcus Stokes, these are guys that I've reached out and spoke to that are part of this new class. All incredible dudes, right? Trevor, great dude. We've seen interviews with him, just a great personality, a loving soul, right? Just happy, hungry, wanting to be there. We've interviewed Justice Boone. He's a great dude. Lorenzo. These are guys with just great hearts dialed in, ready to rock and roll, right? So it's good to see them kind of just giving a shout out to that. I love that. I think it's more to football than just being size and big.
I think last year he kind of got a feel for it.
Not Cedric Baxter,
but it
was like a lineman, as a big dude.
So I think he's getting more comfortable, and I'm glad we got him.
Is there a common thread, though? I mean, you were saying it's a good question, but if you had to guess, I mean, you've been around the game a long time.
I think a bigger guy probably fits into that mold if I was betting. And then you got to play on the team where they'll hand you enough times, right? And so, but Derrick Henry.
Let's drop a like, boys. Almost there to 50. Come on.
Football player I've ever been around, hands down, right? I mean, that guy's in a very unique work ethic, right? I mean, I've watched that guy come off the field on Tuesday practice and get in the squat rack and just go for another hour.
Talking about Derrick Henry.
And he still works that way, right? He's still doing it, right? I mean, so I think he's one in a million. Very unique player.
Billy, you've used the word momentum about 3 or 4 times already. Are you seeing momentum in practice as well as on? We see it on the field. Are you seeing that kind of momentum in practice as well?
Yeah, but I think every part of our routine, I think
Peyton Kirkland. Thank you, Jaden and P. God, I love you guys.
self-discipline to follow through with all the parts of, running, lifting, recovery, training room, meetings, walkthroughs, practice habits. And it's not just players, right? You got to remember that all these people are refining what they do, right? So there's no question that momentum part it applies to every single part of what we do.
Billy, from the standpoint of getting a team ready for an opponent that you're favored over, how happy were you to see that result of the Vandy Kentucky game?
It's a good question.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't. I mean, those are outside. Those are external things. We'd like to think that we're motivated by other things. There's a human nature element to this, though. There's no question that Vanderbilt will be different as a result of winning the game, right? I think that's a reality. So we'll have to combat, some of the positive things that come with them winning the game. So I think it's healthy. But I do think we have work to do, right? We have things that we're specifically focused on here relative to our team.
Billy, in your opening statement, you talked about how South Carolina is the most complete game you've played because of applied leadership, was the phrase you used.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that, and how do you see that?
I like this. Let's go.
Yeah,
Applied leadership.
I see an intentional approach from players to be vocal about things that need to be addressed, right? Things that need to be said. I just see more vocal, and I'm talking across the board. I'm talking about doing extra. I'm talking about accountability. I'm talking about being intentional about connecting with your teammates. Just across the board, I think just a little bit different level of accountability and being intentional about doing acts of leadership, right? I think you got to, and I think our staff is helping in that regard.
How do you coach ownership like that?
Here we go.
Taking ownership.
So real quick, because remember we interviewed Anthony. Anthony spoke to where he talked about how Billy kind of said, hey, like this is your team as well too. And I think this is kind of what he's hinting towards is, guys are buying into this is their team. I allow them to speak up. I allow them, if they're frustrated, to say something. And that's where I don't think we're starting to see it now, but how the Britton Cox situation probably affect things more than we truly understand because of the atmosphere that he runs. People feel the need that they can say something they want. Now, with that power of being able to say whatever you feel, when you give your players, your people that much power, the negative of that is that if you have a toxic person in the room or a cancerous person in the room, they abuse that power. And they'll say things outside of the ordinary. They'll tear apart a room versus being critical to the room and elevating the room. And I think that's what Britton Cox was doing. Again, this is all hypothetical, right? But that's to me is what he's trying. That's what, again, I like to break down what he's saying without saying it. And that's what he's trying to say is that, like, look, I love for somebody like a Trevor Montrell go, yo, guys, we gotta hit harder. We're not doing this. We're not playing this part well enough. Where Britton Cox is like, you guys suck. Again, all hypothetical here, but there is a very powerful way in that type of leadership, but it does take kind of maneuvering through the right personnel and who fits that mold for it to be extremely successful, and it feels like we're going that way.
Well, I think you give them opportunities. I think I think really believe in that part, right? And you assign responsibility, you empower. I think there's a fine line in there between forcing something and then creating an opportunity, praising. I think the big thing is you praise what you see being done well, right? I think we want to promote the behaviors that we're looking for, right? And I think that incrementally over time, that becomes the expectation, right? So I think we got more good going on in those areas.
Can a coach influence which players the other players listen to, or is that something that the players kind of have to figure out for themselves?
That right there is a book in itself. I do think that's always a juggling act, right? I do think that one of the key components of a team that involves so many people is learning who has influence. who has a voice. And then I do think that, that person's example is probably the most impactful part, right? If that person has influence, if that person has a voice, if they have the ability to affect other people, their words and actions matching up, right? Their consistency in their approach, right? Their character not being compromised maybe by saying something that's out of line or doing something that goes against maybe what you're trying to create. I think that's probably the most important thing. And I think that's where our issues have been in the past, and that's what we're trying to correct and get back on the right path.
Seems like there's a lot more kind of gang tackling effort, guys to the ball. How much of that is an effort thing, or how much of that is maybe guys getting comfortable with the system too?
I think there's a little bit of both, but I do think you're spot on. I think the pursuit is better, the energy.
Very much so. Yep, totally agree that they're attacking the ball more. I mean, there's 1,000 guys surrounding the player, whoever catches that football, right? And it's, again, was it a Cox thing? It's all signs are pointing to yes, because I mean it has been a complete 180 since that guy left, and it's dumb to think like, oh, let's just blame it all on one player. But when you've got somebody with that type of caliber and presence in a locker room, they can't have that much of an impact. And now guys are really bought in. It's like, look, we're going all in, and it's starting to pay off. I'm loving it. I think part of it is a little bit of a scheme too, but I think just the players are starting to be bought in, which is awesome to see. Also, shout out to Muscles Mascaras, to the GOAT watching the GOAT. I'm not quite the GOAT yet, but I appreciate it.
Really believe this, like it's year one in a new system, but information.
How about them gators?
Can make a difference. So if I'm processing quicker, if I'm communicating better, if I'm anticipating, I get more production, right? There's a compound effect. If each individual is doing that, I think there is a result that comes with that, right? So I think we've got a group. Also, we haven't been very good, right? So I think there's a little bit of a pride element there. And I think we've got good leadership on that side of the ball within each room, with coaching and players, being more vocal about the things that they know can be done better.
And how do you carry that over dealing with Wright, who's a pretty dangerous runner?
Yeah, no, I think it's one of the things that's tough about Vanderbilt is the uniqueness of him as a player, right? So that'll be part of the strategy within the game.
You mentioned keeping it technical. Is there something, and this is not just an Anthony Richardson question, is there something in season you can do to help a quarterback's accuracy, or is that a high rep, high volume, off season type of thing?
I think that, being accurate is physical and mental, if that makes sense. I think there's so much that happens in a very small amount of time, relative to declaring where I'm going with the ball, and from the ground up, everything being synchronized, starting between the ears, and then fundamentally from the feet all the way to the ball coming out of your hand. I think so. I think it's mental and physical. And that's why it's the most challenging thing to do in all sports, right? But I think it's a good question.
This is something that I talked about in the cast, and I got a little flack because I think people come to my channel because usually I'm the hype fun guy, and I was a little critical on Sunday, which I kind of look back, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have been as critical, right, after a big W, and I appreciated the feedback of too, like, look, it's a win, let's just move on from that, and let's not be too critical, but the inaccuracy from Anthony was big, and I love, hey, what is it? What's the cause? Is it the mental ability? Is it just you're thinking about too many things going on at once? And that's kind of where I'm getting. Oh my goodness. I just straight billied myself. He hit it and I hit it. I feel like he's overthinking things. He's still forcing things. And to me, I feel like we're too far in the season for that to continue to happen. And that's where my frustrations are coming from the Anthony perspective. Look, I think Anthony has done a great job. He looks better in the pocket, way more confidence up there, or in the pocket, I should say. He's moving the ball. He's running the ball more. He quoted today, he's 240 pounds. He wants somebody to feel it. And we saw that this weekend, him just mowing guys over. I would just like to see a little more touch on the ball and him to believe in himself a little bit more when he is throwing the ball. That's all.
Completion percentage.
Real quick, shout out. Oh no. Shout out to Tim Lombardi for the $20 super chat. Appreciate you, big dog. You're the man, baby.
Good human being that I think works really hard, and a guy that he's kind of the old grandpa, if that makes sense. He's the old uncle. He's been around. He's seen a lot. I think he sees the big picture. Javon Dexter, I think, is a young man who's growing in that role. He's getting comfortable with his voice. I do think my man A.P. Powell has some influence. I think he's a guy that is capable in that area. I'm just thinking about defense in particular because I think that's the area where we've grown the most. Offensively, there are parts of our team. Anthony Richardson, I think, is really emerging as a guy that is developing that skill set as a leader. He's getting more.
I couldn't agree more with that.
role.
I think, look, outside of my complaints of his passing abilities, I believe that his leadership on the team is excelling, which is great for our success. They talk about too. I'm gonna end it here because it wraps up here with Anthony. They talk about what do they measure his success on, and it talks about QBR. Is it the completion rate? And they go, look, we don't really measure by completion rate. We measure more by the QBR rating, which we want him to be around the 145 mark. And they asked him how many times has he been there, and Billy didn't know off the top of his head. But I love that. It's like, look, we're not just measuring him off of one thing. It's how are you, which comes through big. The QBR is based off big plays. It is completion rate, touchdowns, interceptions. So we just want the whole package to be there. We're not going to focus on one thing. If you're struggling on one thing, but just make your team better. If the QBR is at a high level, the whole team is performing at a high level. So again, another great response by Coach Billy there. And I love seeing that. We got a few things in the chat. Hatch a Fly says the dime pass to Pearsall was a thing of beauty. I absolutely loved it. I was fired up. Like, to me, it was finally a touch pass. It was dialed up in there. Loved every second of it. I was fired up. The point spread for Vandy, I'm not sure. Muscle says, yeah, I think he thinks about it way too much. It's just like throwing a baseball. You got to just throw it and not try to aim it. Yeah, you got to just you've made that pass a million times, and you got to believe in it. I talk about this with putting and golf. I always go back to golf because that's the sport that I play. Look, I know it's not the same physically, but in a sense of trusting your abilities of what you can do. When you line up for a putter, just a shot in general, once you're there and you're up at the tee, you can't think about anything else. You can't think about, I got to do this, I got to do that. You got to just swing your shot. And you're going to mess up and you'll realize what you did after the fact. But if you try to fix it during the swing, it's never going to work out. So you got to trust it, believe it, let it, grip it and rip it, boys. I think he needs to apply the grip it and rip it mindset to throwing the football, right? If you guys know the John Daly, they got to just step up and you just grip it and rip it. That's exactly what he needs to do. Real quick, SEC Dog Man, Georgia fan, he says he appreciates this concept. Hey man, I appreciate you hanging out and being cordial with the fans. So appreciate your support, man. Thank you. I don't know what the cover is. So tomorrow we're going to have another live show tomorrow. I've got a special guest coming on. We're going to do a bunch of parlay spreads with him. He's a big TikTok guy. He does a lot of sports betting and things like that. He's a great personality. He's hilarious. Love his content. So he's going to be on tomorrow, and we'll break all those stuff down as well as our Wednesday show. But tomorrow's just going to be a little bit special, so I'm excited for that one. So let's move on from that. I hope you guys enjoyed that little breakdown of old Billy and with how he handled the press conference. I always love watching that as well. And you guys keep asking about Holly. He'll be here on Wednesday, boys. Typically, he's kind of working right now. I've been able to get a lot more in, so that's what we're doing here. I forgot basketball was a thing. I'll have to tune in. Yeah, basketball's in, boys. We'll talk about basketball once football slows down a little bit. But let's get into the juice here, boys. We've got some big news on the recruiting end, okay? And that is with Pemba. I don't have his name up there, so I wanted to mention that before I forgot. Pemba announced today his decision will be December 4th, 3 days before my birthday, so hopefully I can get a birthday gift early. His Final Four is Tennessee, which kind of threw me for a loop. Didn't see Tennessee coming in. Miami, Georgia, and then Florida, which is exciting to see. I'm excited to see that Florida is still in that. I love that we're in that conversation. I don't think anybody has quite the idea of where he's at right now, in my opinion. I think people think he's a Georgia lock. But it's varied because I know at one point it was a Miami lock. But look, I would love for him to come to Florida. I think that would be a massive pull for that edge. But right now, it's got 83% to Georgia, 16% to Miami. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. The number 4 edge in the country. Guy's a stud. On his college list, Florida and 247, Florida's not even here, which is surprising. But he released some information today that Florida is in his top 4. I think the amount of IMG guys that we've got coming, I think that should be a little bit of a positive sign. But you never know anymore with these kids. So Mpimba is already a dog, a silent commit. Yeah, I figured he was. Now, Corey Bender wrote an article about old boy Malik Bryant, who has been interesting to watch because we all know that we thought he was going to be a Gator, and then obviously he ended up not being a Gator. He's recently deleted a lot of things off of his social media in association, just Twitter, in association with Miami. I can't seem to find the Corey Bender article now. I saw it post like 33 minutes ago, and now I'm not seeing it. So I did see something, though, where he talked about basically Malik is looking like a possible flip, especially with all the news that went down. Typically, when you see a big quarterback like that with Rashada flipping, it's not too crazy to see that happen. But look, that would be massive for us to be able to pull Malik Bryant. I made a video today, I don't know if you guys have seen it, talking about Harold Perkins, the linebacker, who was a 5-star stud, the number 2 linebacker in the country, who Florida was close to getting, and look at the impact that he's making. Harold's the number 5 linebacker in the country this year. So that would be massive for us to be able to get somebody who probably more than likely will make an impact right off the rip. And again, I'm going to go back to the calculator because somebody said it. I'm like, when I do these things, it's like I'm counting our Monopoly money or counting our lottery winnings before it even happened. That's how I am, though. You know what I mean? So my wife and I talk about all the time, like, hey, what if we win the lottery? Like, we start planning our life. But sometimes you got to be like that. It makes it exciting. So if we go ahead and we can land this old, get the flip-flops out and land Malik, how will things be looking, right? Where does that put us in this class? I don't think it moves us up too much, but it could start setting the tone for more people. That puts us to 282, which will put us above Oklahoma. So that'll put us into number 7. Okay, and look, there's still some more room to grow there. We've talked about the Francis seems to be not a thing. The Lucas Simmons, he was there this weekend. Seems like he had a good time. That seems like a possibility. I'll plug that in. That puts us at 285, right behind Texas and Ohio State. We're over there sniffing. Now, if we were to land Mpimba in some parallel universe, okay, because now that he's out there on the market, he's announced where he's going. What does that do for us? 291. That puts us all the way to number 3. Could you imagine, boys? Now, if Georgia lands him, my goodness. But if we could get, again, all hypothetical, this is what I like to do. Mpimba, Bryant, and Lucas Simmons, those are the 3 right now. Malik and Simmons look pretty healthy. Mpimba is a long shot, but I'm putting it in there because he put us in his Final Four, puts us into a healthy top 3 class above LSU, which we need to beat LSU, in my opinion. I think we need to give LSU a run. We need some 5 stars as well. Mpimba would be the first if that were to happen. Gosh, could you imagine if we added Kermani to this class, boys? Like, this class has a potential to be absolutely massive if some things kind of can go our way, because there's a lot of A&M guys that are starting to flip. They're backing out because it is a complete dumpster fire over there. There's a lot of areas for things to open up here. I didn't even put Rusal into this yet. Let's add Q Rosal to this because, again, he seems to be a pretty good one as well. That puts us to 297. All right, that puts us now into 2nd, right behind Bama. Again, out of those 4, 3 of them at the moment, in my opinion, seem pretty healthy. Mpimba is the long stretch. Rusal seems pretty healthy. That would land us 2 5 stars. Again, James Smith is also an opportunity or a possibility that could be in that as well. We haven't seen as healthy or as hungry for him, but I don't know. A lot there. We still have got a few guys that are out there. Oh, John Walker, good call. That seems to be a possible flip as well. That puts us at 299, 300 basically. So a lot there, guys. Again, I know I always like to count the lottery before it happens, but it's how we stay excited. You know what I mean? I think we have been down to the level of just complete depression of like, what the hell's going on, to where now things seem to be swinging in the right direction of like, look, I'm over here shooting like our best shot, and that puts us into 2nd place with most of that not being crazy. Let me go and just take Mpimba out of that. We're at 294. We're at 294 with Lucas Simmons, John Walker, Malik Bryant, and Russaw. Those 4 do not seem crazy. Now, I also, Kamani McLean felt like a shoe, and I was putting him in there as if it was already a lock, right? But those 4 don't seem outside the realm, hell, and that keeps us still in second place in recruiting. I mean, talk about a year, boys, right? So be excited. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn the bell on, because if anything breaks, best believe spacesuit's going to be suited up. Spaceship's going to be right here. The buzz is going to be flowing because we're going to be humming. All right? You know how we do on the stream, boys and girls. Make sure you guys, can we get to 75 likes? We got 130 in the chat, boys. Let's get this bad boy rolling. It helps the channel a lot. Show some love and support, guys. We're on the way to 5,000 subs. I mean, the growth in this channel has been absolutely incredible. I saw you guys in the comments saying that you love this channel, and I don't think you guys realize how much that means to me and Holly and company. It means the absolute world to us for you guys to come and hang out with us on a Monday. So I know I said that a lot, but I really do appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out and giving us your opinions. Look, I read most of your comments. I try to read everything, good, bad, ugly. You guys are critical of me, which I appreciate. Sometimes I get a little spicy in the chats because that's my personality, but most of the time I enjoy, hey, I don't like what you said here. We can agree to disagree and move on, and that's what I love about that. Like, you guys know me. Like, I never claim to be the smartest guy in the room, okay? Just the guy with the bushiest eyebrows. That's the only title that I want, all right? So you guys rock and roll. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Again, let's get the likes and subscribes. What's the name of the song you play at the end of your videos? People ask that all the time. It blows my mind, and I don't know. Can you try to like Shazam it? I don't know what it is. It's a free song. Like, I have to make sure I use songs that don't get me banned or kicked off the internet because copyright issues. But it's a free song. I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry, guys. I try to find songs that like kind of fit my rhythm. But I love that. I love that you guys love the song here. That's awesome. Yeah, 2024 is going to be a hell of a class too. You're right, Muscle Mascara. Look, I think things are humming, boys and girls. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, because just like the recruiting trails like this on a piss missile, the High Top Sports channel's on a piss missile, boys and girls, and we're all a part of it. All right? And the muscle stash. Absolutely. I'm thinking about cutting it back. I'm thinking about getting the dad stash back. I don't know. We'll see, boys and girls. I like that. Be spicy and have some fun. We got a super chat from Chris Sorley that I missed. Oh, Mark Fletcher, running back from America Heritage. He's got the eyes. What's up with it, big Chris Sorley? And another 99 cents for Sorley. What's up? Thank you for the love and support, boys. I appreciate you, man. King Sacco. So shout out to Patrick Toney. I've been rough on his defense scheme all season. He finally listened and changed it to 4-down linemen in situations. I definitely believe that he heard you. 100% he heard you. I love it. It's called My Way by Netflix. Oh, Netflix. There you go, Johnny. That's it. It is by Netflix. Johnny with the clutch. So the song is called My Way by Netflix. That is the artist. I do know that because he's the free artist that I can use. So I love his stuff. Hey, good show. I appreciate you guys. You guys rock as always. We got to 74 likes, almost 75. SEC Dog, you guys rock. I appreciate you. You guys have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow live, 7:35. We're going to do a bunch of parlay action, a bunch of betting. So if you guys enjoy that kind of stuff, make sure you guys come by and see us. Hopefully, we'll have some good news in the next day or so. I don't know, boys. I'll see you.
Fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know.